Well guys, we are finally working on the kitchen again. And what I'm doing, since we have this shed space, I'm actually cutting the insulation in here. It's really wet outside because it's rained for about 2 days. But Casey is inside and she's putting up the insulation as I cut it. Obviously, it takes a little longer to put it up than it does for me to cut one. So I'll end up going in there and helping staple. But I have a list of the kitchen pieces that we need, the lengths and the widths, and I'm gonna cut everything in here so we don't have fiberglass just floating in the air. Really nice to have this covered space to do this and dry ground. This morning we actually finished putting the wires in the kitchen, so it's all wired for electricity. It's not hooked up obviously, but the walls are all wired. We've got a good amount of these panels to put up, but when we're done we're going into town so we can get some more supplies. Before we go to town, we need to unload our dishwasher and fridge from the trailer because we need the trailer. This is us trying to get the fridge in the door in case he's taking the door off its hinges. It's so close, but the door is on that other side, blocking it. Now we just gotta put the door back on. We are back working on the kitchen area today. We have taken a few days off of working on this. Had to do a lot of stock tank pull work, but this looks chaotic, but it's because our kitchen's just in the middle of this room. We've been kind of working on insulation here and there, not videoing it. And we actually, I don't think we videoed this, but we put two pieces of drywall up, and Casey hated it, but it ended up being okay. So, especially because we're not going to be taping and mudding, we're going to be putting something over that. Casey has fetched water so we can have
went to the well.
The well. That's just our IBC toad, but this is what we do basically. Every time we need a refill on water, you have to hand get it in that blue container, pour it in the Berkey, and wait for it to filter. How often do you think we have to fill that? We're gonna work on trying to get more of this done because behind you is our refrigerator just in the middle of this house, and we would like to be able to put that on the wall over here and get it out of the way.
Maybe turn it on.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Because we have a mini fridge.
Yeah, that's our mini fridge right there.
It makes me want to poke my eye out.
That's our mini fridge right there. And stuff full.
It's a mess in here.
Yeah. So
Welcome to our...
basically, if we could get the walls up on here, it would just be the start of being able to get all of this stuff organized and not like it is right now. So we have, Casey's finishing the last piece of insulation on the bottom, but now we have to figure out how to insulate up there. I have some wood cut, so we're going to be covering the vent and sealing it and putting some wood up there and doing insulation. Eventually we're going to put possibly like a fan vent, but for now we're just going to cover that up so that the insulation isn't getting wet. have our insulation, floor to ceiling. It's gonna be special up here because that's where the ceiling and the wall meet, and that's a problem on its own. Anyway, so now we're ready for drywall.
Don't love it.
Don't love it. But we're excited to see drywall around these windows. Because over here, this isn't very, like, exciting. But I think when you have...
Also blue, so.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We had a vinegar spill. Got on the insulation. But we have a fan on it. That's already dry. That whole thing was kind of wet, so it's dried pretty good with the fan on it. But it smells like salt and vinegar chip.
I think if we sprayed vinegar on it, it would get rid of the vinegar smell. That's what they tell you to do when something smells bad.
Right now, Casey's going to clean up the floor.
When you install these floors, whatever it's called, vinyl planking, you're supposed to leave a gap around the edge of a floor. And then that way it has, I can't remember
It's
what.
able to expand.
It's able to expand. And then you seal that gap with silicone. And we haven't done that yet. So we have to do that before we put our walls up.
So we went and picked up a sink for $40 today. And we have some garden work to do before we get back to this. Hazel, that's naughty. So our water pump broke for a shower, so we got a new one. So we're setting that up. And I'm looking for the sprinkler in the tent because we have to water the entire garden because it was supposed to rain yesterday and we really needed it, and it basically sprinkled for like 5 seconds and everything still needs water. All right, we have a sprinkler plugged up in case he's about to turn the power on. This is a solar powered sprinkle, y'all. All right, I have these solar panels out. I'm gonna plug them into the Jackery so that we can charge this while we're actually using it. So the sun has gone behind a cloud, but it will come back, and we actually still get solar just a little bit when it's covered like that. But anyway, Yep, here it comes. There are the two 100-watt solar panels, and they are hooked up together to the jackery. The jackery, the solar generator, is powering the pump, which is taking this water, pumping it out to the sprinkler.
I'm just too impatient to wait to water these. They need a long, deep watering, but they're doing so well, and I don't want them to dry out and be sad. The other thing that probably needs a manually watering is all the trees.
This is our best in show rose, called State of Grace. I'm trying to get it really to show you. The color is really not showing up as well on here, but see, some of them are kind of yellowy, and this like peachy color, really pretty. This is the silver lining rose. These are basically falling apart because they've been bloomed for a while, but it's really pretty. Got that from Menagerie, and this one also came from Menagerie. It's Violet's Pride. It's honestly a little more pink than I thought it would be, but that's okay. There's a couple plants down here that are not getting watered, but that's okay. We'll make sure to, you can tell, you can see the line right there. So we'll make sure to get these watered, just these ones on the end. Today is a very nice day, and originally we had kind of looked at the forecast and said, oh, Friday's going to be a really nice day, Friday and Saturday, and maybe we should work on the stock tank pool then, because we need our stock tank pool, guys. Like, we need to be in it, but we're going to be restoring one for our personal use. Before we left our house in Nashville, we sold our tank that we had just gotten that year. So if you followed along for a while, we had an 8-foot tank for 5 seasons, and then we upgraded last summer to a 10-foot. So we had a brand new 10-foot tank, which we just took from our own stock, and we painted it and had a cool deck around it, but we just could not get into moving that, and we sold it for as much as we do installations for, so it was basically a good deal for us. So we have 2 tanks that have been on the land. They were the first thing we ever bought to the land. The first one that we ever had is here, and it has rust on it, and it just needs a lot of help. The other one we got from somebody, and it was completely rusted on the inside. It's a 10-foot. So our plan is to restore that tank, so it's not as easy as just putting a tank down and filling it up. So we thought, oh, today is going to be a nice day. That's when we should start that project, because we have to do it outside. It's going to be kind of a big undertaking. But now that it's so nice, we're realizing all these things that we really need to do. I really do want to finish putting drywall up in the kitchen, and I don't think it would take that long. But I also really need to plant our sweet potatoes. The garden needs to be watered, and we really do need to work on the stock tank pool if we want to be able to have it anytime soon, because when it's really hot outside, if we could just get in the water in the hottest part of the day, that would help with not using the AC as much. So we definitely see it as a benefit, setting the stock tank pool up just to be able to stay cooler on these really hot days. So I am about to plant the sweet potatoes, and we'll just see what all we're able to get done today. Basically, we have so many things left to plant, and they really just need to go into the ground. This is the time, it's past the time. I have all this basil that's not in the ground that needs to go in the ground. So we'll just see what we can get done with that today. But we also need to start the stock tank pool, and maybe after we do a lot of work out here and take a break, maybe we'll have energy to work on the drywall inside, but not making any promises. So I had 100 sweet potatoes when these came, but I have not been able to plant them in a long time. So clearly some dead ones in here, but these actually came from sweet potatoes we grew last year. So I'm just gonna plant everything we have, and whatever we get will be great.
You tell me you're scared. You tell me you're weak. But I know you're stronger. what you think. And I know it's hard. Yeah, I know it's rough, but we'll make it through. And I'll back you up. Wherever you're going, I'm going to. I'll follow you through the black and the blue. Whatever the mountain, we'll climb to the next. Honey, I'm with you through life and to death. You tell me your name.
Here is our rusty tank. Very, very rusty. And yeah, this is wasn't our tank. We got this from somebody who had rusted their tank out. But it is not level. Like, this is level, so you can see it's going downhill. So we're definitely have to do some leveling. Obviously we have to do lots of stuff inside. This is what my hands look like from that. And we've got to find a drain plug because there's not one. But the holes are already drilled for our pump. There's a lot to do. Not going to do that today though. So the sun has gone behind the trees. It's not down by any means, but my ankle is actually really swollen. I don't know why I didn't like hurt my foot or anything, but it's swollen. So calling it a day. Didn't get as much planted as wanted, but I did get the sweet potatoes planted and all of our corn except sweet corn. So we're not doing as much sweet corn, but we're doing a lot of corn so that we can have like cornmeal and grits and that kind of stuff. So that all got planted, but I think we're gonna hook up our outdoor shower so that we each can take a little shower. And I think Casey might try to do a little sanding on the rust over there. And then we're just gonna enjoy the nice day, rest of the day. There won't be much of it, but at least we will just enjoy not being super hot. It is a new day and we are waiting for someone to come by to level our ground. We realized yesterday that it was really unlevel, and while we kind of thought, oh, it might be good if we could level it ourselves and be able to kind of show people how to do it, we just don't have the time to do that. It will take a long time and a lot of manual labor, and we have a lot of other things we have to do that require manual labor. So we found someone last night. Basically, as soon as we thought, let's see if we can get someone to level this, we found someone last night who could come today. And they already came by today to make sure they could actually do it, and they're gonna come back this afternoon with their excavator and just level the spot. Maybe this other side, could you hit it in a cup? We like even. Oh, let me see. Okay.
Up.
We're putting our first arch in. We've had this cattle panel that we brought from Nashville forever. Been moving it all around our yard. I think we moved it like 100 times, and I just told Casey, I'm like, can we just put that in? We still need to buy a lot of cattle panels for the tomatoes, but, well, and for like beans and stuff like that. But we're gonna go ahead and put the arch up. I know. All right, we moved these pots were in front of the house. We moved those over there. And Casey potted these yesterday. It's a mix of things we started from seed. This is something that we bought 100 years ago, never planted. We planted some of it, but not all of it. So we thought, let's see if it'll survive. These two won't burn you. But we got mint, basil, dill, lemongrass. These are like herb containers. And then we have, I think this side is the angel hair spaghetti squash, which is like a personal size spaghetti squash. And then these are our tromboncinos, which there's only gonna be 2 plants over here. So 2 plants here, 2 plants here. And we grew Tromboncino. We grew 4 last year. So 2 on this side, 2 on this side. This thing was covered and it was crazy, right?
It was crazy. It's a really cool squash to grow because, well, one, it doesn't suffer from squash vine borers, or what's the other one? There's 2.
The squash bugs, it's not
The
as...
squash bugs. It's not as susceptible to those. Well, at least in Nashville, we had a major problem with that. And also, you can harvest them when they're young and use it like a zucchini, and or you could let it grow all through and then it'll store, like ours is
like a winter squash.
like a winter squash. Yeah, it gets like, and I'm not exaggerating, like
Maybe you
this
should go get one.
big. I'll go get one. I mean, it's huge. And this is from harvesting like the end of season last year, and it's still starting to get like a little bit the skin, but it'll still be eatable. And this is just like kind of, you know, squashy,
Like butter,
like butternut squashy. So it's just very versatile. You know, it's hard to come up with uses when you have a million of these. We gave a lot of them away. So anyway, they're fun though, and they're like really low maintenance. So some squash is kind of a problem.
Yeah. We've had those, we have 2 of those that we have carried from Nashville to the camper and to here, but we just haven't, because those are so large, you really need a big space or like a full kitchen to deal with those. I think when we get our kitchen set up, that's going to be one of the first canning projects I do, is I'm going to cut one of those up. I might freeze some of it, but I'll just cube it up and can it so we can use it in recipes in a more usable quantity, because that'll serve like a whole party. So, or maybe we should have a party and we can just roast one of those and just have a ton of Tromboncino squash. Derby. All right.
Whee! Just 2 more pieces up here.
I'll probably have to move this ladder.
And this is all.
It's like a never-ending drywall project, and it's only not even a third of our house.
Yeah. It is a disaster. We are aware.
Yeah. Nowhere to put anything yet.
If you've ever wondered, these here are their support. They have to stay there. We're not sure what we're going to do with them. Probably stain them or something. We've thought about making them like thicker so they look more like a beam, but who knows? And we still have to cut that window out right there.
It's kind of awkward when you go and push it all the way to the right. Patchwork drywall up here.
And the flip side.
Oh, so many different colors. You may be wondering why we have about 3 different colors of drywall here. That's 2 reasons. One, this blue and the purple came from 2 different places. They are both mold and mildew resistant, and we wanted to have that in our kitchen. And the piece that Casey is putting up right now is actually the back side of one of the purple pieces. It's supposed to be purple side in, but basically we were going to be able to use that last piece a lot more efficiently if we flipped it around. And because we're putting beadboard wainscoting over top of this, it really doesn't matter. It's all going to be covered up. We're not even painting, so it's not even like it's going to be weird colors for painting. It's all going to be covered up by beadboard. See if this last piece is going to fit right.
Like a puzzle.
Oh my god, is it
It's just like a little.
round 2? Oh. Seems to have made it in. Another screw on the floor. Alright. Alright, everything is drywalled. And there's only one thing left to do. Alright, Casey kind of moved everything out to the side so we can actually not have the, I don't even know, trail, the maze that we had before. And
This
feels
is
much
not vodka.
Oh, this is, what is it?
This is our homemade vanilla. It's like a year and a half old now, I think. It maybe, yeah, like a year and a half.
Yeah. And it's
But this
started out as vodka.
Started out as vodka, yeah. We gave a lot of it away. Well, we actually had even more than this. We gave a lot of it away as gifts. It's so easy to make. You literally just buy good quality vanilla beans, soak them in a thing of vodka. The longer the better.
Yeah, at least 6 months, right?
Yeah. So I feel pretty good. This like feels very significant to have all the drywall up. Will be very significant. I hope next week we will be showing you, I'm confident we'll be showing you all the beadboard up. How far, and we'll have like the appliances in place. Will we have a countertop and a sink? That would be like amazing. Because we also have some outside projects that we have to simultaneously work on. So anyway, thank you for watching. Come back and watch us next Sunday.